Hey, family. Listen, this is a new series. Now, let me do my regular stuff. All right. Black Box Radio. Listen, I am chilling by myself today, as you can see. This is Make It Make Sense Mondays, and my co-host is in Kenya, and he had the time a little mixed up. So he's coming in. He is coming in. And remember, we're, I think, 8 to 9 hours away from them. So the time is very different on the other side of the world. And so he's going to export himself into here very quickly. So I'm just going to talk to you guys before then, more or less, kind of introduce myself to the international folks. So we are Black Box Radio. I'm Queen, by the way, and I am a host at Black Box Radio. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We talk to Black people, we expose Black genius, and we disseminate information. And the information is for the Black community especially, but for all communities. It's important for Black people to have authentic spaces that are they're not contrived or controlled by anyone. And this is our voices making noises out here. And so it's all good. We do this 6 to 9 times a month. You can check us out on YouTube at Black Box Radio. So you see that right up at the top. It says at Black Box Space Radio. Check us out on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me say that again. Like, share, subscribe. We need you to tap in, grow this channel. We need you to subscribe. Our international Diaspora, and we're Diasporans, but people on the continent, off the continent, wherever you are, and you're African, you're Black, this is the place for you. This is where you get love. This is where we talk about RealTime, things that are culturally centered to Black people, to African people. So I ask again to you to like, share, subscribe to this channel. Make us famous, baby. Make us famous. But I started like last year doing this series called International Sundays, right? And so International Sundays is a series that we do where we connect with the diaspora. It's very important. I'm in the States for us to see our journeys in other parts of the world, because usually they're like paths. They're just people doing different things, but the path is the same, because Black is Black, baby. We're genetically connected. And so African is a genetic thing, no matter where we're born or where we were dropped off, because a lot of times we are more focused on where we were dropped off than where we came from. So let me say that again. We're more focused on the drop-offs than the origin. And the origin is Africa. So you was dropped off in South America. You was dropped off in Brazil, where the most Africans were dropped off. You were dropped off in the Caribbean, because these Dominicans and these folks say, "Oh, I'm not Black. Yeah, I'm not African." You are. You Puerto Ricans, all of you guys. So Jamaica, Jamaicans, Barbados, all of these Caribbean states. So the Caribbean. Wherever you were dropped off in this world, Europe, all throughout Europe and in the States, we got to stop worrying about the drop off and worry more about where we originated. And that's Africa, the continent. And we're seeing a seismic shift in the world right now. Some lipstick on my teeth. No. So we're seeing a seismic shift in the world. When I say that is we see the US President, Trumpy. He is chaos. So he's coming through being his authentic self, baby. He's doing his chaotic dance. And listen, we all are sitting here listening to the music. And it is what it is. And let me tell Black people, y'all gonna be all right. We've been through this. He ain't the first chaotic one. He ain't the first racist one. He ain't the first suppressive one. He ain't the first thief. They all are. So we're gonna be fine. We got the toolbox. But the only thing in our toolbox is we're not uniting, we're not communicating, and we're not disciplined in dealing with each other and trust. We got to heal. When we heal, it's so many things we got to feel. But we don't want to heal because of that feel. We don't want to feel. So listen, we have to heal, we have to unite, and we have to build institutions. And Yes, we have boycotts for these things that I would say that's in America. Oh, we're boycotting this, and we're boycotting Target, and we're boycotting this one, we're boycotting that one. What is that? And then after the 21 days, where you going back to Target? You're going back to Walmart. You're going back because you need their stuffs. We got to build institutions. So long term, and I'm not saying that doesn't have a short term hit, but if when you go back and spend the money anyway, you just delayed the cash. So we can't delay the chicken. We got to stop the chicken, literally, in our diets too. But definitely, we have to look at how do we build institutions so when they get crazy, we ain't got to worry about what they're doing. So we got our own stuff. And people say, oh, they're coming in to destroy it. They can't destroy everything. And because they are destructors, this ain't nothing new. That's what they do. They're destructors. But what we're going to do, we're going to not do nothing because people keep destroying it? No. You keep building, 10 toes down. You keep one brick at a time. They knock off 2 bricks. Somebody come back and put 4 bricks. We got to continue to build. And so that's part of this thing. It's continuing to, you're going to hear my mom's phone. I'm in South Carolina studios, and listen, she answers the phone when she wants to. This is her phone. So a disclaimer here is you're going to hear the phone. So it's all good. But we're waiting for Sensical Sense to come on in from, he had the time wrong. I don't know if the time went up because I looked at the clock. I had to set the clock, just America and this time thing. Only country changing time. I swear, how the arrogance of that. How you change time? But anyway, so we're changing time. I don't know what time it is. I don't know about all of their time. I think we're back to the old time from last. So I think this is what's it called? Daylight savings, whatever. So he had the time a little mixed up because he's in Kenya, and that's cool. But we started International Sundays to connect with the diaspora maybe once a quarter. I do it once a quarter because I have to find diasporans who will sit down with me and coordinate the time. It's the logistics. So I had my first guy was Sensical Sense, and I watched him. He's a Pan African. He's young. So when you got 24-year-old that is worried, that is focused on his people and his country, I got to say salute. And so from that salute and him coming on, we decided to start Make Sense Mondays. And that's what we are. That's what this is. And this is where we're going to talk about Africa. We're going to talk about America. We're going to talk about the diaspora. We're going to talk about connecting. And so I got to connect with him when he gets here. He's coming. But I just want to tell you guys a little bit of what we're doing. And I don't like to start too late. I appreciate you coming and looking. I appreciate you being here with us. We are trying to build this daily day space. This is probably my first onset in the day. I don't do day. We do night, baby. We night crawlers. So we have an 8 p.m. joint tonight. So we usually come on at night, but this is our lunch series. Is going to be every second and fourth Monday. This is the first joint. And so we're going to continue till we build this space. And we want you to comment. We want you to share. We want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But more than anything, we want you to tap in, put a comment in, talk to us. And if it gets where we really start talking and we build it up, I'll bring in a line and you can come in and talk to us live. I'll even drop the link. Come sit on stage with us. Let's talk Africa. Let's talk America. Let's talk connection. Let's talk being Black and African and all of those things, because we're more alike than we are different, and we're genetically connected and we need to connect. And so come in, make sure you tell your whole ecosystem. Don't forget that part. Come in. I need you to like it. I need you to share it. And I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, baby. Make us famous. That's what I need. Make us famous. So, like I said, this is a new joint in the daytime. We're doing daytime love. And this is our international show. Make Sense Mondays with Sensical Sense. And, he had the time a little mixed up today, but listen, America changes time. So sometimes you can't know what's going down in America with this time. The only country I know out here changing time. So you get kind of mixed up, especially I'm sure the international folks do. So look like Sense is here. Let's get him up here. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Queen?
Good to have you. Good to have you. I kind
Hey,
of
sorry.
talk to the people
I didn't know
and
you guys changed time. I'm really sorry.
oh, no problem, no problem. I look like we changed time. It happened to me this morning. I was like, it's 10:45. It was 11:45. I was like, what's going on? Because you know the phones change, but the house phones, the house clocks, they stay the
Mm.
same unless they're digital. And so this is an analog clock. And I was like, wait a minute. But you know, they need to stop. It's the most arrogant country I live in. They change time, bro. The most arrogant notion that you can just put the clock forward, you can put it back at whenever you feel like. So I don't know. That's what we're dealing with here. But anyway, talk to the people, introduce yourself, and let's jump in.
Yeah. Basically, I am. You know, Queen. I decided to. It's not change. I decided to revert to my African name, Orina. I don't even know why I've written Sensical Sense. It's supposed to be Orina. It's okay. Um, you know, like uh, reason being is because I just felt like I should use my African name, and I should
Mhm.
use my African identity anywhere I go. Uh, that's it basically. It's nothing deep. People asking me, "Oh, is it?" No, no. It's just that I just decided to use my real African name.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm Rina. I'm a Pan Africanist, and I'm just a person who loves African people. I'm just a person
So
who
we got
wants
to change
African
everything.
people.
We got to change the banners. We got to change everything because you're Arena now, the original.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I just wanted to, and people are telling me that they love my African name. That it's actually a good name. It has a ring to it. So I was like, all right, let's keep it. So Orina is my that's how I want people to identify me. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing. Your name is your name, and it's all good. We ain't mad at that. So what's going on in the world?
In the world, well, we don't.
In
Wow.
our world, African world, in our world. Yeah, what's going on? What's going on in Africa?
Well, uh,
A lot. A
a
lot.
lot. But last time we were supposed to talk about the Congo crisis, and because of time, we didn't cover it.
Well, let's talk about it. Jump on in.
Well, the problem with the Congo crisis is, well, as we all know, M23 rebels are taking over some territories in Congo. M23 is backed by Rwanda. It's
Hmm.
very sad. It's and Rwanda is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, exporter of coltan in Africa, but they don't have a single mine in Rwanda. Did you know that? So they're
I
the
did know.
biggest exporter. So they're the biggest exporters of coltan, the mineral that is used to make all these
Phones and
devices that
technology.
we use.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have a single mine. They don't have a single major
All the
mine.
mines are in Congo.
Yeah, and that's why they're using the M23 rebels to secure those mines through violence. Now, here's the thing. People always look at, the problem that people are looking at is they're looking at Kagame, who's the president of Rwanda. And you
Yes.
should look at him. You should look at him, and you should blame him because
Who I thought was a good
Kagame,
guy. I thought he was a good guy. I like how he talks. I watch
yeah, me
him.
too.
He's
Me
very
too. But
charismatic. He's very smart. Um, I'm
yeah,
amazed. Hmm.
No, it's true. I mean, let me tell you something. Kagame is really, well, before this debacle, he was really admired by a lot of Africans. To me, I'm really disappointed because
I'm
he's
really
one of those
disappointed.
presidents. He's one of those presidents who I really thought that would inspire thought change in Africa. But no, he's just and that's why I keep on saying never trust politicians. I don't care who they are. Trust
Mm.
leaders. Like even Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, I'm looking at him with a very keen eye. I'm looking at him with my three eyes. It's not even two. I'm looking at him with three eyes because
Yeah,
I like what
great.
he's doing and I like that people are praising him. But if he let me tell you something. If he lets us down, then I'll just be I'll be very
I'll be
disappointed.
so hurt. I mean, even the whole AES joint, the whole AES, Mali, Niger, that whole thing they're
Yeah.
doing, they're bringing they're trying to start a bank, their own currency. They have passports now. They can go within. Listen, I like what they're doing. They left ECOWAS. They walked away. All of that. I love that. But I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. you know what I mean? Because it's almost too good to be true. That these guys are really thinking. They're very innovative. That's what I thought this guy in Rwanda was. He speaks truth to power. He tells the West where to go, but he's in his own country causing havoc. I have a problem with that. The president of Rwanda, I can't say his name, so I don't want to butcher it, but I like him. I watch him. I thought that he had a lot of promise for us Africans, but what you're saying, I didn't know. That's why we need you.
Yeah, so that's the reality that's happening, right? And I'm really disappointed because Kagame was
Mm.
one of those people. Like to me, it was Kagame and Magufuli of Tanzania,
Yep.
and now Ibrahim Traore. Well, they killed Magufuli and then they blamed it on COVID. We all know what
Yep.
they did. Uh, and
Yes.
then and then and then and then now Kagame has let us down. So the only one we're looking at now with a lot of hope is Ibrahim Traore, sadly.
But we're also looking
So
at Senegal. Faye, what's his name? And then Faye,
it's
what do
too
you
early
think
to
about him?
tell.
He's
Too
another
early to
young
tell.
leader, huh?
Too early. Too early.
Too
Just
early. Yeah, he just got installed. Yeah.
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 Too early. Like when it comes to politics in Africa, you just need to be because like you need to be very, very, very patient.
Okay.
Just give them time because time reveals who they are. So just
Time will tell.
even yeah, even Traore, but Traore seems to be in the right direction. I just pray that he doesn't let us down. Because another thing about Traore that I would give him some constructive criticism is that I don't want him to rely so much on Russia because he's relying
In China,
he's
Russia and China,
uh,
be careful. Yeah. Yeah.
well he's mostly with Russia even more than China.
Yeah.
I just want to tell him just be very smart in how you relate with them because Putin just wants to take over Africa just like the way the West does.
Yeah.
Same as Xi Jinping of China. So be very careful.
To me, they're
Yeah,
all Europeans. They're all white. To me, ping
yeah.
pong, all of them. They're all greedy. I don't see, listen, it's no different. They try them, John, whatever. They all want Africa. Let's be clear. So I don't care where you're from. And I would want Africa too. I mean, if I didn't have Africa naturally, I would want it too. And so you have to really tread softly with these guys. Putin is an answer, but he's gotten some troops just recently from Cuba. So he has alliance with Cuba, and I think Tanzania sent him some help. Yeah, just
Really?
recently. Yeah, I was just reading. I'm trying to stay up on it since I'm in here with you. I got to have my Africa together. So I play. I ain't let you outshine me sitting here, and I got to read. So I've been reading and looking and really digging up. But he's getting help. He's getting a multitude of help from different people. I think he's inspiring a lot of people. I think the inspiration is his leadership is definitely inspiring a lot of people. I don't know if it's sustainable the way he's going about it. But it has to be if he does a self, like they do a lot of self things. They're providing rice for other countries now. He's really investing in farming. I think he has a car coming out. They're doing a electric car, and he's doing some manufacturing in his country. If he does that and gets self-sustained, that's the way to go. Africa should not buy rice. It's ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous that Africa is buying rice. Africa bought rice to the world. It is no way that Africa should buy rice. And so all of it and nothing, everything, oil should not go out of Africa, get refined somewhere else and come back for a retail price. That's a problem. So all of these things, he opened a tomato plant. The tomatoes had to go and come back as tomato paste. So they're doing it within the country. So I guess all of that's promising, don't you think?
It's very promising. You need to if I'm in charge or when I'll be in charge, one of the things that
part.
Oh, yeah, when, not if, when I'll be in charge, one of the things I'll take control, and it'll be at the control of Africans, is food. Food is the most important thing.
If you feed somebody, they'll love you for it. Yep.
Do you know our food supply is largely owned by foreigners? Did you know that in Kenya, people know Kenya for its tea? Kenya is the best country when it comes to tea production. But did you know that the biggest tea farms in Kenya are white owned? And yeah, they're white owned. And when you pass by there, I mean, just past, like I remember one day I was passing by those tea farms. You would see the farmers, the Kenyan farmers, the Kenyan laborers, picking the tea, and it was raining heavily. I was like, how comes these people? I mean, it was. I'm telling you, it was pouring, but people are in the rain picking the tea for the white man. What does that remind you? It reminds you of slavery when back in the day when our ancestors were picking cotton. So it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing that we are the largest tea producers, but we don't own the biggest tea farms. Sad, but.
And we wouldn't know that unless that's why what you're saying is so important. Like, I did not know about the Congo, Rwanda. I thought they had coltan in that country. I'm amazed. I did not know that the tea farms are owned by whites in Kenya. That's a problem. How do we allow such foolishness when you have poverty and people who need spaces? How does that happen? Is that the leadership? How does this happen?
Yeah, it's leadership plus whitewashed mentality plus basically just lack of pride and lack of love for your African race, for your African people. It's just as simple as that. Because you can't tell me that if you truly love African people, if you truly have pride for your people, you wouldn't let white people own. Let me tell you another thing that people need to know, and that's why. And for the African Americans and for Africans in the diaspora who are listening to me, you should know your continent. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a Pan African. I know what's happening in my continent and I know what's happening in the African diaspora. I'm always watching because I look at you guys as our brothers and sisters, and your business is our business, and our business is your business.
Yes.
So another thing that you need to know, Queen, and is that, did you know that some of the largest landowners is white people here in Kenya? And in fact, there's an area called Nanyuki where the largest landowners in that area is white people. Now, did you know that a lot of white people who are in those areas, they didn't buy that land? Listen. I'll even send you a video of an old white guy say that I was born here, I was raised here, and I inherited land that my father didn't remove a single coin for. It was during colonial times. You see, let me tell you something. During colonial Kenya,
took land. They just came in and took it, and now it's theirs, and their legacy on and Kenya allows that. When does the Kenyan government say no?
Well, let me tell you,
if you don't go through, you have to get rid of it. You have to leave. No way.
Well, yeah, during colonization, when white people were in charge of this country, they awarded first of all, they snatched land from native Kenyans. Then they awarded that land to their World War I soldiers in Britain. They awarded that land also to the politicians as well. And so they didn't even have to remove a single coin for it. And the descendants of those white people who inhabited that land are still holding that land till this day. Now, let me tell you another thing. Those grandchildren and children who are still holding the land of their ancestors who stole it from native Kenyans, some of them are turning the land into conservatives. So they're saying that, hey, we know we stole this land from you guys, but we are using it productively because it's a conservative.
We are conservation. So it's for the country. It's for everybody to love. Yeah. They think they're smart, but they're not. It needs to be snatched. Snatch it back. I like South Africa. Snatch it back.
I don't even think they're smart, because if they were smart, they wouldn't make it into a conservative. Why would you lie to Kenyans that you're conserving wild animals, but when you go to your land, we only see 2 parrots and 5 monkeys and a bunch of, come on. What are you conserving in 1,000 acres?
2 parrots.
Yo, you have 2 parrots, 5 monkeys, and a bunch of owls, and you're telling me that you're conserving wild animals. Man, listen. And you have 1,000 acres, and you're telling me you're conserving. So let me get this straight.
You make it
the Africans you displaced are homeless. The Africans you displaced are landless because you want to conserve from 2 parrots and 5 monkeys. Give me a break. When I'll be in charge of all this land, I'll take it back to the African. It's just that simple. Because
I hear this again. So do you have political aspirations, my brother? Because I keep hearing when I'm in charge. I love it. You're young and you can do it.
Well, let me just say it's speaking into existence. Let me tell you something. When you look at Africa, there are cornerstones, there are pillars of Africa. There are countries that everybody looks up to. It's Kenya, it's South Africa, it's Nigeria, and Egypt, and now Ghana. So those 5 countries are countries that the rest of Africa and the rest of the African diaspora are really looking up to.
Okay.
Kenya being one of them, Kenya is one of those countries that if it just becomes Pan-African, if the Pan-Africans, the Pan-African spirit is very low here in Kenya. If Kenya becomes one of those countries that leads the Pan-African movement, oh, I'm telling you, it's over. It's over.
It's
And
over.
that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to raise the Pan-African spirit high. Because I know the heart and the will of Kenyans. When Kenyans are angry, they'll take it further. So yeah. So that's it.
Let me ask a question. How is the government structured? Is it like here you can run for like city council, you can run for governor? How does it work when it comes to political aspirations in your country?
Yeah. So for example, here in Kenya, you can. So it's like your city council is what we call member of county assembly. It's called MCA.
Okay.
And then we have governors, we have senators, we have MPs. So MPs are like your congressmen and congresswomen. And then now there's a president. Yeah. So yeah, you can.
Okay. So you can actually go through the process.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I would say to you then, you're young, you're Pan African, start the process. Go through the process. Learn the political structure. Like when you don't have any political experience, but one thing about politicians, there's no pre-job for a politician. I mean, politics is an anomaly. Like you can't really get trained to be a politician. So there's no like you go, you do work at someplace else to learn, most of it's lawyers because they know the law. But other than that, there's no precursor for politician. And so here, if you haven't done it before, they're like, well, run for city council or run for dog catcher. So you can start learning, how politics work, get your relationships up. You're going to need money here in this country. It's expensive in the States. So can you go through a process like that, the vetting process, and try to, get to a point where you start running for office? Is that how it works?
I hate politics, but I love leadership.
Ooh.
You don't have to be, you don't have to benefit, Africans or your people by entering into politics only. There are many ways you can benefit your people. And I'm looking at leadership right now. I'm not looking at politics. So if there's any people, I just hate politicians. I mean, just the other day here in Kenya, we had the opposition leader who has always been a fierce critic of the president. He was always, in the streets, but he was shaking hands with him, and they've made an agreement. And this is a guy who said he'll never work with him. See, politicians are a bunch of liars, and honestly, politicians are a bunch of hoes.
I agree.
Politicians are a bunch of hookers.
Yep. Whoever got the most money, they're ready to have sex.
It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Whoever gives them the money gets the attention.
It's the attention. That's it.
And if you don't show them the money, they won't do anything.
Wow. And that's true. That's true.
So let me just leave it at I don't want to say that I'll run, but I want to say that my plans of benefiting African people doesn't have to do with politics. I don't have to be a politician to benefit African people.
No, you don't.
If you look at the change that has happened in the global African race, It wasn't done by politicians. Dr.
No,
King
it was
wasn't a
done by
politician.
coups. It was done by coups. They stage a coup and then come on in.
It's not even that. It's like the people who benefited African people globally
Oh, weren't
were not
politicians.
even politicians.
Yeah,
Like
you're right.
Dr. King wasn't a politician, Malcolm wasn't a politician, Medgar
Yeah,
wasn't a politician, Marcus
yeah,
Garvey wasn't a politician.
yeah.
Well, we
Sankora.
can say we can say Patrice Lumumba was the first prime minister of Congo, but then him, I don't want to classify him as a politician because he was a leader. He wasn't a politician.
Yeah, they were leaders. Yeah.
Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso was the president, but he wasn't a politician. He was a
Yeah,
leader.
he was actually a military guy. Yeah, so most of these guys are. Are you looking to go in the military?
No, no,
So that's not, you don't have aspirations for that neither. Okay.
no. I'm more grassroots. I'm more activism. I'm more Pan Africanism. That's where I want to stick my lane in.
That's what you want to make your lane in. Okay, well, that's a beautiful lane. Africa, Africa needs a lot. What I do want to see is these young leaders. I don't know about Mali and Niger. Those guys don't look too young. They look like, but they have a resolve. But we, young leaders like these young leaders that are come, Troy and Faye, and these young guys that are coming through here, I think they have innovative thoughts. They want answers to the long-standing questions that they've had with their countries. They see a lot of blight, and they see a lot of poverty, and people not getting the money, not trickling down to the people. So I think that if the youth, these young leaders, they're more innovative than these older leaders, like the guy in Rwanda and your president. They got to go. Some of them, they got to go. And let's get some youth in there, maybe. And if it's an older person, I don't have a problem with that. But they got to be creative and innovative, and get away from the West. You got to leave the West alone.
Well, yeah, that's true. But let me challenge your point on that when it comes to the youth. Well, not even challenge, it's just to,
That's
challenge
fine.
actually.
That's fine.
Listen, even here in Kenya, ever since last year, people are saying we need the youth in power. And I agree, I am the youth, but we're not looking at do we want the right youth in power?
Mm-hmm.
You see, let's not be infatuated by this. Oh, we need the youth to be in power. We need to have the right youth in power. Otherwise, when we become so infatuated and emotional on us putting youth in power, we'll end
Mm-hmm.
up putting the wrong youth in power. We need to be very, very clinical in how we do this youth thing. It's just the same thing with gender. So last year in America, black people are like, we need a woman in president. We need a black woman in president. Yeah. Well, for me, I don't think that you will change anything if you're in either party, Republican or Democrat. But let's just say, that okay, yeah, we need a black woman in office. It wouldn't necessarily be Kamala Harris.
No.
It wouldn't. Is she the right black woman to be in office?
Well, the problem, see, but what happens here is the right is who they choose. So even if there was, and the president is not the leader, they're just the person standing out front. They're the puppet for all the strings that's being pulled, right? So they need someone who they can trust to actually enact their foolishness. So she was the one, because she would be able to implement these policies that the guys who's pulling the strings want. So they won't put a regular black woman in space. I don't want to be a politician, but they won't put me, because none of that shit they talk, I want to hear it. We're doing this thing a whole different way. And so they're not going to, I would never get to elevate. And I'm not putting myself in that space. I do not, let me say it again, I do not want to be a politician. I do not want to be anything with politics. But I'm saying, if it were me, and the difference of me and Kamala, she would win hands down, because They're frightened of what I would do, and they know what she would do. You get what I'm saying? So even in the politics realm, you're being controlled. And so I don't know, even I hear what you're saying, the right one. And that's it's important. We need to cultivate who we're going to put there. Or you guys should cultivate. But how do you do that?
Well, yeah, by the way, before I answer that, I mean, it's the same thing with Obama. Black people went to vote for Obama because, oh, he's black. Really? Did you even ask him about his policies? Did you even ask him about his plan for black people? See, black people were so emotional and so infatuated. They
You're
were so
right.
infatuated to the
You're
point
right.
that so yeah, he's black. Okay, yeah, he's black, but does he have a plan for black people? See, people never ask themselves that question, and then when he finished his 2 terms, they realized he didn't do anything for black people. But I don't blame him for that. 100%. I do blame him partly because
Blame 'em.
being a
But we knew that was
no.
going to happen. I think that we're used to them not doing anything. Really, for real. We really think that, I think black people in this country, we really understand that there's not going to be something just for black people. It has to be for everyone else. And so the expectations was him was just trauma. Like, you want to see yourself. We just wanted to see somebody, unfortunately, that looked like us. So we got emotional, and yes, but I don't think he was a good president for black people. Nah, I don't think so at all. I don't. I'm not enamored with him. Only thing I told you I like about Obama is how he has a black wife, black children, and how he moves as a purported black man. And at his level, that's the only thing that I can say salute to. His policies, he can have all of that. Yeah, you cannot kill Gaddafi. So I'm done with Obama. Been done with him. So been done with him. No black man don't kill black men. African men, nah. And then they're Africans. He's African. African don't kill Africans. No, 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 no. That's not what we do. I don't care what you say. And so that's my problem with Obama. I think we were emotional because we never see ourselves. And they played a trick on us. That was the trick, bro. Play on their trauma.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Play on their trauma. And you're right. You have to get the right one. But we need, even if it's not youthful, I'm with people who are innovative, because not only youth have innovation. Innovation can be in a 40, 50-year-old, but we need that. You need innovation, not this rely on, Western, or rely on, you got to watch this Russian and China stuff too, because they don't have the best interest for Africa neither. I don't think.
Oh, of course. Trust me, if there's anybody who knows anything about China and Africa, is Kenyans. So,
Oh,
if,
really?
oh, what? Do you know that
Really?
in the previous presidency, China had the most debt given to Kenya in the history of Kenya. Like, we have never borrowed from a single entity in the history of our country more than we borrowed China, and we're still paying, the Chinese loan till this day.
Yes.
Uh, so I'm telling you, it's messed up. And one thing about China is that they come and then they build these roads, right? So
Yeah.
the Kenyan government or these African governments are going to China, and they tell them, hey, we need you to build this bridge, we need you to build this railway, this road. And they're like, okay, no problem. So when we take that loan, the loans are not just monetary loans. They bring in their own people,
Yeah.
and they bring in their own human resource to build
Yes.
those roads. So they're
So
not
they built
even
their country and their people in someone else's country. How do you allow that? That's
well.
foolish.
Well, it's not just any other Chinese people coming to build these roads. It's the worst of the worst. Some of them are even prisoners or ex-prisoners. Some of
Wow.
them are. It's true. Some of them are like they're the criminals of China. So they're bringing
Wow.
in bad people. So I mean,
Yep.
and that's why, like, did you know in Nairobi, the nation's capital, there's there's like a Chinatown. There's like a Chinatown where the buildings are in Mandarin. The
What?
people there.
In
You would
Africa?
think, you're in Beijing.
Wow. Wow. Chinatown
And
in
we let
Africa. And we let this
well,
foolishness go down.
but it's not just Chinese people only. I mean, the East Indians, they have been making their own territories for a while. East Indians have been in Kenya for a while,
But they South
and
Asians. You know, they're South Asians. So these are
oh,
Asian, they're Asians. These Indian people, they're South Asians. They got the same, I think, spirit as Asians. They act the same way. They come in, it's all about them, and they bring their people in, and they go in their little area and they eat their own food, their own everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I I don't think that a
no,
country should allow
let
another
me tell
country
you,
come in place
like,
like that.
let me tell you exactly, like, let me tell you what's wrong with East Indians. So the problem with East Indians is that they stick together. They live in the same neighborhoods,
Yeah,
and they do everything together. They buy from each other. They do everything together. But
yeah,
that's okay. That's
that's
okay. But
that's fine.
but but I draw the line when you perform segregation in my African soil. That's where I
How do
draw
you
the
come here
line.
and segregate on soil that's not yours? And but that's the Asian. I'm telling you, that's why when I say the world is African and you're and white or whatever, all of that else, because they all act alike. The Asians act alike, the Europeans act alike. They all act alike. They all come in for them, selfish, chaotic, and steal and whatever and try to make everything go towards their country. It's all about their country. So when people say, "Oh, they're East Indian," I'm like, these are South Asians, and the only thing that separate Asia from Europe is mountains. Other than
Yeah.
that, it's called Eurasia. Don't listen. Let's talk some geography. It's called Eurasia. Now they broke it up in Europe and Asia. Europe is not a continent, baby. Let's not get it. Continents have to have water to break up. Europe is not a continent. Europe is Eurasia. And it only separates Asia through mountains. They act just alike. They do the same things all over the world. Am I correct?
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it's true. And
It's true.
and
And
even
East Indians are South Asians. They are Asians. And so they act just the same. Very predatory, very self platforming. Everything about them is beautiful. And then you have to explain who you are in your country. That's what they do. They do it here. So I know they do it there. And so we as Africans, we cannot look at other people. We got to stop showing up. If Africa doesn't heal, nobody's healing all over the world. That's just it. And we gotta find a way to heal Africa. And for African Americans to be protected, for Africans to be protected when they leave Africa or wherever they dropped off, there's no protection until Africa starts getting protected. That's just it. What do you think about that?
no, it's true. It needs a certain, uh, you know, the '60s to me is the most revolutionary decade in the history of of basically in like of
Wow.
African struggle. The '60s. If you look at the '60s in Black America, there was Dr. King, there was Malcolm, there was Medgar Evers, there was the
Yep.
Black Panther movement,
Yep.
there was Elijah Muhammad, there was
Yep.
all these there was all these things. There was so,
Yep.
and then when you look at England, there was the British Black Panthers. Then you look at Africa. Most African countries got their independence from Europe in the '60s.
Wow. Wow.
and then there was 1963 when the OAU, which is the current African Union, was formed, and Kwame Nkrumah basically told people this is the
Let's
only
go.
time to unite. If it's not now, it's never. They didn't listen to him.
They did not listen to him.
If we get back to the spirit, to that vibe of African freedom that was in the 60s, man, I don't think we'll be free. We need to study the 60s. And then also, one thing I like about the 60s is that the struggle was united. Even Dr. King, who was an integrationist, he had full support of Africa at that time. In fact,
Malcolm, Malcolm supported him. They bet. They didn't hate each other. They just had two different movements. It was all for the liberation of people, of Black people, So they didn't hate each other. Yeah.
And you find this FBA people say, they always put Malcolm, they always put Dr. King on a higher pedestal, and they always use him, but they don't understand that Dr. King also believed in Pan Africanism. In fact, I'll send you a video of Dr. King and Kwame Nkrumah. There's a video of Dr. King and Tom Mboya. Tom Mboya was a Kenyan freedom fighter, and in that event, Dr. King was saying that we share the same struggle. I don't even have to mention Malcolm and his. By the way, let me tell you something about Malcolm. Malcolm was murdered immediately when Malcolm was murdered. 4 days later, a Kenyan politician who was a close friend of Malcolm.
He was murdered in Kenya. Yeah.
He was called Pio Gamapinto. He was also murdered in the same week.
Yep.
And
I thought it was the same day. I thought they murdered the same day.
It was actually 3 days. It was actually 3 days after Malcolm was murdered. And it's not only him. It was other African key people who were also murdered, in the same period, because that's what they do. They killed Malcolm, and they killed any connection that he had, so that his movement, because he was going to make a Pan-African movement, could also die. So the 60s, if you look at the 60s, and if you look at the civil rights movement, and if you look at the Pan-African movement and the African movement of liberation from colonization, they were intertwined. Nobody was saying all these stupid things that these FBA people are saying, that we were Native Americans, or we were no. Everybody was together in the 60s. And that's like, we need to get back. I'm not saying we need to get back to the 60s. I'm saying we need to get back to the vibe and the energy and the mindset that we had in the 60s.
Yeah, I agree. I think what happens though, Brother Sense, is Brother Arena. I gotta get that right. What happens is it's called socialization, and being encultured by Europeans. So they have, and first of all, they have you afraid because they kill all your leaders. They kill all your leaders at 39. Malcolm, Martin, Mega, all 39. And it's a reason. And they do all of these things right in your face. And they destroy your neighborhoods, and they kill your men and women in the street, and they kill your children. This is trauma. And so you get folks who now look for ways to still be Black and still be able to contort themselves into European spaces. And I think that's where you see the ADOS and the FBAs. They have this this thought process sees that comes from fear. It's absolute fear. That's where to me, that's where it starts from. And when people don't want to die, they're just like Europeans. Revolution has needs blood, unfortunately. Blood is connected to revolution, change, and people don't want to die. So for some of this to happen, some people got to die, and they don't want to do that. And they've seen their leaders get killed, and literally in our faces. So it's hard to kind of, what you see is hard to unsee it. You get what I'm saying? And your behavior becomes a reflective of what you can't unsee. And that's what I see in America is we're afraid of these people because they're absolute killers. Let's not get it twisted. You come up and you get too far, they're coming for you. And so a lot of people, they don't want to die. They want to, and who actually wants to die? Just think about it. Most of us want to live. And we say we're going to die, but really we want to live forever, as long as we can. And so I think that underlies the behavior too, Brother Sense. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we discussed about nuclear weapons and everything. We should have our own nuclear weapons. Like, we need, the reason why Africans globally are afraid is because we don't have a strong defensive system. I
And they will
mean,
do everything for you not to get it. They're going to do everything. Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
exactly, like, it pains me that I mean, the thought of white people can kill us anytime. It
Anytime.
just pains me. It
Anytime.
pains me because the materials that they use to make all these weapons, we have them.
They're in Africa. That's the
materials,
thing about it. But what more than anything is what's going to be, the world has changed so much though. They could just kill Africans, but Africa's full of Europeans. Africa's full of the same thing that they before could just isolate African people, but it's very hard to just kill them anymore because the world has opened up. It's an oyster. So you go to China, there's a cadre of Americans, there's a cadre of Europeans, you know what I'm saying? You go to Africa, Europeans, Chinese, everyone's there. And so you drop a bomb, you kill you too. And I think that's what kind of keeps the world at a equitable state, because killers don't care who they're killing. First of all, they don't care. But I think equitably, what keeps us more in an equitable level is these people are present just as much as Africa is in Africa. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you, but then let me challenge your point.
Okay.
9/11, white people, I mean, Bush, the American government, and the elites, the real people who were in charge. I mean, they killed their own people in the Twin Towers, so that they can have an excuse to go and fight the war in the Middle East, so they can go and steal the oil in the Middle East, and so they can go and steal all the other minerals from the Middle East. Let me tell you something about white supremacy.
We're talking about a nuclear bomb. They ain't gonna drop no. White folks have killed people around, but they're not gonna. A nuclear bomb takes out everybody. It's a different movement. Yes, they did put bombs, and they perpetrated this foolishness called 9/11, and now we got to talk about for the rest of our life like somebody did it. We know they did it, but yes, they killed they found a concerted amount of people to kill at one time. A nuclear bomb ain't that way. It kills everything. Animals, everything's going bye-bye. And the land is spoiled. Not only is the people spoiled, but you're not growing no vegetables. you know what I'm saying? You're not. It's going to take a while to get that away. Even the minerals are affected in the land. So that's the difference, is how do you drop a bomb on the richest soil on the earth? The whole world will stop.
But it doesn't even have to be. It doesn't have to be nuclear. They can use a lot of things to take us out.
Biological weapons. You're right. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But they got to be very careful. If you want to extract from that same soil, you got to be careful what you drop on it. That's all I got to say.
Like I always say, that if white supremacy can kill some of their own people so that they can be able to increase their supremacy and to increase their power, what will
Yeah.
you think they will do to us black people? I mean,
I mean, they've shown us they kill us. History, we got receipts. They're going to kill you. I mean, we got receipts of this. So we know they are killers. But also on a global level, they got to be careful what they kill. Because if you're going to extract from soil and you want to play with biological weapons, it's not going to be good for you in the long end, because it's going to come back and bite you too. And so that's you extracting what you're killing is it's going to be you got to look at a lot of things when you go to that type of weaponry, because it doesn't just go away. It's not like a like a bullet. The shrapnel come out and we deal with the shrapnel. Biological is different and manifests in a different way. So yes, they have the upper hand, but are we going to always, where are we going to start? Like you said 2 weeks ago, if we continue to be fearful, how do we go forward? That's just it.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. We just like in Africa, we need to have a united African army, and that's
Yes.
why I don't respect the AU anymore, because all they do is to just talk and talk and talk
Yep.
instead of them talking about the real issues on how we can unite our army,
Yep.
our African military. And then, even in the African diaspora, for example, in America, the Democrats always tell you guys hey, guns are bad, guys. Fine, guns are bad when you use it the wrong way, but when you use it to defend your community and to defend your family, guns are good. Keep those guns. Because let me tell you something, I foresee a race war. All these, all these, all these southern ignorant redneck crackers, all these, all these redneck crackers who are Trump supporters, the same guys who went to raid the Capitol. Those guys have guns. Like, let me tell you something. If 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 now white people decide to attack black people in America, you guys will all be dead, because you don't have an arsenal. You don't have an arsenal to protect the community. And even if you guys have the gun, and for those who have the guns, they're not using them productively. They're using them to kill each other. Not all of them, but some of them. So
I
what I'm
agree,
trying to say,
Dwayne, but I think a lot of times we're living through what media tells us. I do agree. I do agree that we are vulnerable. But I will say that a lot of black households have guns. This is a gun country. What you see on TV is the thugs, but you don't see us professionals we go to the gun range. A lot of us have guns. We understand that we live around killers. And if you black in this country and you have no gun, you need to get yourself together, because we live around killers. But you're correct. We're very vulnerable. But one thing that we have in play, we got Trumpy, and Trumpy is starving the rednecks. See, he's helping. He's helping this situation, because when everyone gets hungry, I told you, the more hungry people get, the more willing they're to come together. And so what you see is he's starving Nebraska 6 months until the state goes bankrupt. You know why? Because none of the illegals is coming to work. 70% of the income that come out of that state is what? Cattle. And they voted 80% for Donald Trump. They can't get no workers. Nobody, so they're going to lose their farms. The state is on this in 6 months. They said they will be bankrupt. So what's that? Christmas time? It's going to be Christmas in Nebraska. And all of these states in the Midwest that all they depend on is cattle, and mostly cattle. So cattle is a big thing. They depend on farming. There's nobody to do the farms. And black folks ain't doing no farms. We done with that.
mm,
We don't
mm,
even we want to eat from the we want even we want to eat from the restaurant. So we sell panky out. So what's happening here is people are not thinking. And I love it. Trump ain't thinking. He's thinking that he's getting rid of illegals, but he's getting rid of the workers. And who the workers work for? The folks who stole the land in the Midwest from the indigenous people. So now the same land that they stole, they can't work. So they get hungry.
mm,
So now they
Mm.
on YouTube begging for help. So this is what's happening. So what we see is going to be a shift, because the same people who want to fight you see that now you voted against your own interests, because a billionaire don't care about your color. They care about green.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, of course.
So
But
white don't matter.
yeah, but before I further that point, I just
Go ahead.
you guys are really vulnerable.
We are
Yes,
vulnerable.
yes. Even though you guys have the guns, we like you
We
need
don't
to
have
form like
power. We don't have any power. So we are vulnerable. Yes.
yeah. It's not even power. It's power and it's just simple organization. If you guys can organize to have like a defense system whereby you have like a gun it's actually like a gun club, but this time a serious gun club that has all the black people who own guns, and they're willing to join this gun club, and they have chapters in various black cities that
Mhm.
protect the people. You guys need to have it, because let me
Listen,
tell you,
the reason why we don't
like
have that is we are untrustworthy of each other. Just like Africans, Africans here work just like Africans. We are untrustworthy of each other. But we do have heavy gun clubs, but they don't have all of the guns. They have a lot of black people who have a gun club, and then they have another one that has a big gun club. But then, like you said, there's no chapters, there's no unification. We are very vulnerable, very vulnerable. But that vulnerable is the reason why we're being controlled. And until we understand that you can only work as a unit to get around these folk, I think Trumpy and Muskie and all the boys, they're going to show you, these billionaires are going to show you, because they come together. they don't, they make money together, they roll together. So if we don't see what's going on, then we got to stay vulnerable. It's unfortunate, but we are very vulnerable. You're right. Very vulnerable. Very. Black people in this
well, we have
country.
to learn. We have to learn how to trust one another.
Yeah.
We need to get all our petty differences. We need to trust one another, and we have to do
Yep.
it really quick. We have to
Really
do it
quick.
quick, because the rate at which these white people are becoming more and more hateful, and more conservative, and more, you
Yep.
know, and more racist,
Yep.
is going to be full blown. And when it becomes full blown, it'll be too little, too late.
Yep.
Because guy, like if they stormed the, let me tell you, when those crackers stormed the Capitol, and they just walked in and walked out. Hey, me, I was like, they can do anything. They
They
can
can do
do
anything.
anything. They can go back to their neighborhoods,
Yep.
take their gun, and kill all black people. I truly believe that
They can
that's
do it.
what they're capable of.
They can do
I
it.
truly believe that that's what they're capable of.
They did it
So
before. We have receipts of them killing. They've done it before. They can do it. It can happen. And the unfortunate thing is we're lying. We got to see it first. We don't believe it till we can see it. We're relying on people who showed us that they're killers. When a killer show you they're killer, what you gonna do? Act like they're a pastor? They're killers. And so you're right. The vulnerability is there. We're just as vulnerable as Africa. That's what I'm saying. To be protected as as a people, Africa has to heal and be protected. Because when Africa gets this one currency and one movement and one military, then you can say, you mess with my black folks over there in Baltimore, don't come over here for no more wheat. Don't come over here for no more Colton. Don't come over here for nothing, because if they're not safe, you can't get nothing out of this ground. If Africa don't heal, we're never gonna be safe. I don't care how many guns we got. We got to
yeah,
heal mother. When we heal mother and we unite in mother, everybody gonna be like, wow. Because first of all, we talk about the second largest continent. So imagine the military of a second large. North America fits into Africa 7, 8 times, baby. So that this military we got ain't nothing to what Africa complaining about. Africa has the most youngest, vibrant population on Earth. On Earth.
yeah,
So imagine the military of a country, of a continent like that. We don't know our own power. Just imagine the amount of the military right there, the second largest continent, the people and the most youth. Even the first continent, largest continent, don't have the youth that Africa has. Just imagine that, and say we're going to protect this continent, every piece of it, and you're not going to get nothing off this continent. To everybody you dropped off all over the world, they need to be secure too. When that happens, the world changes, and they're going to come and blow some stuff up, but they're not going to be able to get rid of us. It's too many. It's just that. I don't know what you think about that.
No, it's true. I mean, you hit the nail. And you know, the more we have this African army, is the more we can even solve our problems. Like, for example,
Solve everything.
You look at what's happening in Haiti. You look at what's happening, and basically, so that's why, you know, our president is really embarrassing Kenya to the African diaspora, because he basically sent. Did you know that he sent Kenyan police officers
to
go and
Haiti? What would he do that for? I said, what's wrong with this man? You going to send African people to suppress African people?
Well, he did that in the sponsorship of Joe Biden, your former president, and did you know that the money that US gave Kenya to go and facilitate that particular mission, you know, these police officers, some of them are not even getting paid for doing the job that they're doing in Haiti. And basically, I'm like, wow. Okay, fine. What's happening in Haiti is horrible, and I mean, it needs to be stabilized, but not this way. You can't tell me that you're going to take police officers who don't even have that extreme military training to go to Haiti and basically fight the rebels who have more superior and more weapons. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
That is furnished by the same people who have who have called you to fight. So they want to kill some of your people. The same people furnishing the money on both sides.
Exactly.
What is wrong with us? Same people. Joe Biden and his crew. Same people.
It's the same people, because the largest weapon supplier in Haiti is the United States of America. So basically, that's why I keep on saying.
At the biggest, it's hypocrisy.
But that's what they want. They want. First of all, America has everything to gain in this Kenya-Haiti thing. Why? Because now Haiti is looking at Africans in a bad way. They're like, hey, you guys are supposed to be with us, but you're against us. So one, they've achieved their goal of disuniting Haiti and Africa. That's goal number one. Number two, they are saying, you know what? We don't want to send American troops to Haiti. Let's bring in Kenyans to go to Haiti and do our job. And basically, with them doing with Kenyan police officers going to Haiti and fighting with the rebels, a lot of commotion, a lot of war, a lot of friction. The white man is just busy stealing the minerals, the iridium, the
largest deposit of iridium in the world. That's it.
You know, have you ever asked yourself one question? Why are there so many videos in Haiti of people getting shot, people getting bombed, people getting killed? Even in Congo, it's the same thing. People getting shot, people getting killed. But there's very little or no video of the smuggling of minerals.
and why people are getting shot. Why is there chaos? So you just say just Africans are chaotic, Haitians are just chaotic. What's the trigger and why? And if these folks are impoverished, how do they get guns? How do they get money? How can they move? How do they get vehicles? We're talking about folks. You said they don't have nothing. Somebody's at the root of it. And there's something to gain. And I promise you, the West is in it. Wherever it's stealing, we're there smoking a cigarette all day long. And it's awful. It's awful.
Oh,
It is awful that Africa would become a partner in that foolishness. The Kenyan president, Kenya should be, it's ridiculous. It's not good.
Not Africa. That's him. I don't co-sign anything that's happening. I don't co-sign anything that's happening with the police mission to Haiti. I don't co-sign that. That is basically, I don't even know what to call it. That's crazy. What we're doing there is so.
It's ludicrous. How does an African go kill Africans? Leave Africa, come to a continent where you dropped off Africans to kill them. Do you see the symbolic of how ridiculous that is? That Haiti wasn't populated by what? Africans. So you leave Africa in the 21st century and go to Haiti to kill the same descendants of those Africans for the same country that colonized you. Do you see how ridiculous that is? That's ridiculous. It's insane. It's insane. And when we look at stuff, that's why we have to be international citizens, guys. I do this because we got to hear this. And when we start knowing more and we start having this type of communication that me and Arena's having, it changes our thought process. We get real information. Like, we do not know much about Africa. That's what the problem.
And guess what, by the way, it's not only African diaspora not knowing about their homeland. People in the homeland don't even know about the homeland.
Bro, you're killing me. People in the homeland don't know about the homeland. Ooh. Wow.
Bro, like, yo, Kenyans, like, I can tell you the truth. We don't even know what's happening in Gambia. There's some, I'm telling you, like, we don't know what's, I mean, South Africans don't know what's happening in
Swaziland.
Maybe they might know what's happening in Swaziland because
they do. They're really close. Yeah,
it's close, but they don't know what's happening
in Senegal,
in Morocco, or in Angola or something. Like, we don't know each other. Africans don't know each other, and you might even be surprised. Kenyans don't even know what's happening in Tanzania. And Tanzania is just our neighbor, and like, you might even be surprised that there are many Kenyans, not all, but many Kenyans who don't know what's happening in Uganda, in Tanzania, in Sudan, in Ethiopia. These are our neighbor countries.
You talk about in East Africa. East Africa don't know what East Africa is doing.
Oh, we don't know each other. We don't know each other. We might know some basic things, but we don't know each other. And like, you'll even be surprised. Some of us don't even know the basic things of our neighbor countries, let alone Kenya not knowing anything about Nigeria and Angola and Senegal.
All the way on the other side. They don't have a clue what's going on over there. They don't even know what's going on in Ethiopia.
Not again, not all, but you might, like, if we do a poll right now,
yes,
we will find that it'll be more than 50%, no, more than 60% of Africans don't know about each other. I am very sure about that particular point. We don't know of each other.
Why do you think that? Tell me why you think that. Why is that?
Well, it's one, because of the legacy of the Berlin Conference.
Well, we know that broke Africa up into these little spots. We get that. But why we
No,
won't our own go search ourselves? Why won't we go outside of our country that they
because
established and say, let me find out what's going on in West Africa. Let me see what's going on in South Africa. Let me see what's going on in North Africa. Why won't we know?
because we have been in these borders and we have been taught to look at our own territory and not other African countries. Let me tell you,
That's
the biggest
European
mistake.
right there. That's colonial. It's to focus only
That,
on you.
exact. And you know
Yep.
what? The biggest mistake that our African founding fathers made is that after independence, they kept the borders that European bestowed upon us.
That Berlin Conference should have blew up at the independence. It should have blew up. They should have
It
went
should
back.
have it should have blown up, but they kept the borders.
Yeah.
So for 60, 70, 80 years, Africans have been in these borders and all they know is these borders. They don't know anything about, okay, not all again, because people are going to, not all, but I assure you, many Africans are many Kenyans are only caring about Kenya. Many Ugandans are only caring about Ugandans.
Yeah.
Many South Africans are only caring about South Africans.
Yeah.
So we don't have a Pan-African, we don't have a Pan-African view of Africa because of the legacy of the Berlin Conference and because of the
That's
mistake that
intentional.
our founding
That's
fathers made.
colonial and that's intentional. That keeps, if you keep people in their borders and they don't connect, if you keep people just focusing on, that's intentional. So Africa even has to break away from these colonial mindsets and the enculturation of colonization, how it makes you selfish. You use your connection with your people that's on the continent with you. And so not only do the diaspora need work, we all need healing from colonization, baby. Colonization has hurt us all. Wow, that is hard to hear. That's hard to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
And if
hard.
people watch my latest episode, which is my best, where I break down the Berlin Conference piece by piece, and I fully explain the legacy. And in that episode, there's a part where I say that during the Berlin Conference, where Europeans, even the United States was in that Berlin Conference, by the way.
Yeah, and they didn't get no land, but they got the money.
Yeah. Now, well, I don't know what happened, but
they got the people.
Well, I don't know what happened, but they didn't end up owning any territory in Africa.
They gave them working power. They gave them the people. Take the people.
Yeah.
They didn't get the actual territory, but they got lives. They got places to build America. So they won too. Shoot.
And basically, I also think that yes, they participated in the meeting, but then they were like, we already have, even though by that time, which was 1884, slavery ended, they were like, we have these black people and they're building our country.
Yeah.
So
they didn't need nothing. Yeah.
So, but here's the thing, they might not have seen the importance at that time, but I can bet with my whole entire life that America is feeling jealous and is feeling the pain right now that they didn't participate in African colonization, which is why they want to get deeper into Africa now, which is why they want to meddle into African politics, into African economics right now, so that they can.
I think they are feeling the pain, but I think what they did is that's how the EU started, was for them to leverage together the resources. And so America doesn't particularly has territory, but they come together in this concerted effort, and they all share all of the accoutrements from Africa. So all of the Europeans are sharing it in some way. It might not be, they don't have like Francophone has France has countries. They don't have that, but they got what they were able to build America from Africans, and they are able to leverage these European relationships. So they have their hand in everything. And a lot of American businesses have businesses in Africa, gold, I mean, so it's a lot. It's a lot going on for America there. But I know they would love to have some land and control some land. But what, like, these countries got to let them go. Like, I don't know. I can't say it, Djibouti or whatever. Right there at the Cape of Africa, is that Djibouti? Has every base in the world.
Yeah.
America,
Yeah.
Europe,
Yeah.
everybody's in that country, and they're making money from that. They gotta stop. Let them put them out. You cannot let them sit in your country and be able to pick your people off. Crazy. We got to do better. We got to find other ways, and so if Africa would just say, I was just hearing the other day they want Traore to be president. They better be careful of the whole country, whole continent. I was like, wow. I mean, I don't, so the people are saying that, but I think that they need one president, they got 33 currencies, or how many currencies that need to stop?
41 currencies.
41, that's got to stop. I mean, they're trying to start another one, Syra, in the AE states. They got to get one currency. The African World Bank has to be a real World Bank. You
Well,
understand?
we have the African Development Bank, but it's not as influential as the IMF and the way the World Bank is.
Yeah. So they would have to take that currency and then utilize the land, and it'd be the richest currency in the world. It would break every other currency, because what Africa is the richest country, the richest continent in the world, richest land. So if they get that and get one military, all of these young people, Africa's unstoppable. But they're gonna come in and try to do a lot, but it's unstoppable. I don't know if they can do it, but I wish.
We can do it. I mean, it's easy. People always ask me. People always think I'm very simplistic in my thinking of how I think about how we can revolutionize the African race. It all starts. It doesn't even start with the mind. Mind is second. The first thing is the heart. You need to have love. You need to have the heart that will motivate you to think African, to think the Pan African way. But first, you need to have the heart. For you to have the heart, you need to start looking at things from a perspective of these things happening for the betterment of my community. That's the only question you need to ask yourself. Anytime you look at Asians, white people, Arabs coming to Africa, or coming into any Black community in the African diaspora, the first question you need to ask yourself is, are they adding value to my race, or are they taking from my race?
That part.
The answer to that question will make you feel, well, of course, the answer to that question is that they're taking from you. So when you realize they're taking from you, you need to feel that anger. You need to feel that emotion of, no, this cannot happen to my race. And when you have that, heart, when you have that emotion, when you have that anger of, no, this cannot happen to my race, then it will motivate you to think in an African way. Now, when you think, you will do, but it has to start from the heart. The heart is the biggest motivator of mentality. Mentality is the biggest motivator of action. But it's the heart. It's the heart. That's why when you hear me speaking very passionately, it's because I have the heart. Though even you, Queen, you have the heart of the love that you have for your race. You need to have the love first.
Yes. We got to love ourselves and love our people. We got to. And we're loving everybody else but our people. That's the saddest thing out here. But you're right. The heart, it starts in the heart, then the mind. I like that. I definitely like that. So listen, we've been here an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And this has been great. And we're gonna listen. We're building this space, guys. So this is our first show, actually, our first real show. We're gonna be in on at 12:30 every second and fourth Monday. You're gonna close out the show, though. I'm just gonna say this part, and then you close out the show. But yeah, we got we're gonna change this. It's not gonna be Sensical Sense no more. We're gonna definitely change that to the original arena. But this still is gonna be make sense Mondays. We're gonna have this connection from Africa. He's in Kenya, I'm in the States, and we're gonna talk about Black issues, African issues, African triumphs. We got to have these type of conversations, and maybe like what you said, Arena, you said Africa don't really know much about Africa neither. The diaspora doesn't know much about Africa neither. So maybe this is something that's why we're together, is to bring some information to our people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring it forth. What do you think?
No, it's true. It's true. We need to know each other because we are all we have. Don't listen to these FBA, ADOS fools. They're a bunch of fools, and they're a bunch of I don't know, man. Leave them alone. Because only fools think that they can defeat an institution alone.
Alone, exactly.
Only, 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 only fools think that the only listen, the only person who defeated a giant is David, who defeated Goliath. It doesn't
Maybe Shaka
happen.
Zulu.
It doesn't
Shaka
like
Zulu.
it
Didn't Shaka
doesn't.
Zulu defeat a giant? Shaka Zulu. But you're right. Only
Well, yeah,
David. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
But I'm saying that the David and Goliath moment doesn't happen oftenly. It needs a giant to defeat a giant.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a
Mm-hmm.
giant to defeat a giant.
Yep.
The only way we can defeat white supremacy, the only way we can defeat white supremacy is by uniting as a global African race. Period. You can't defeat supremacy as Black Americans alone. You can defeat white supremacy as Black South Americans, as Black Europeans alone, as Black people in Asia alone, as Africans in the continent alone. I mean, if that's the plan, then we might as well just even stop fighting.
Yep.
If the plan to defeat and if the plan to fight racism is by fighting it alone, then then let's just stop. Let's just stop because we are doing nothing. But if we are serious about uniting, if we are serious about fighting white supremacy, then let's just unite. That's the only way we can be effective in this fight. Yeah.
I love it. That's, guys, he closed out the show. I need you guys to like, share, and subscribe. We're here every second and fourth Monday. On the fourth Mondays, it's going to be Arena by itself. And he's going to present his series, South Africa to Africans. Am I correct? That's on the fourth Monday. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's me and him on the second Mondays where we have this actual live conversation. But he's going to have his content coming in 2 weeks. So I want you guys to set up for that. That's 12:30 on not this Monday, but next Monday. And then we'll be on every second and fourth Monday, connecting the diaspora to definitely to Africa, but also having some Diasporan dialogue. So I really appreciate this. Since Arena, I gotta get it right. Arena, it's been good. So I'll get it. I get sense out of my mouth soon. It's still there. It's gonna take me a minute. So I want to say goodbye to everyone. Y'all have a nice Monday. Have a blessed beginning of your week, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We're deuces. We're out of here. Let's go. Can I get some deuces from you, brother?
No, right. Black food.
Oh yeah, that's right. You never can do so it's gotta be power. He can never do. I love it. He can never just say deuces. Got to be power. Black power, y'all. This guy, Pan African, till he die. All right, have a good day.